Hi, I'm Giles Arber from Directors Talk, and I'm speaking today with Max Vermorken, Chief Executive Officer at SigmaRoc. Max, good to talk to you again.
Thank you very much for taking the time.
Now, Max, a great set of numbers announced today. Can you talk us through the highlights?
Certainly. So these are the first numbers we published as SigmaRoc. We started obviously as a cash shell. So I'll talk you through both the high-level numbers that we published and also a like-for-like year-on-year comparison with the operational businesses underlying these numbers. So the business itself turned over just over 27 million pounds in consolidated revenue, which is an increase of 11% year-on-year with compared to the Rhone Group in 2016. We generated 5.5 million in group EBITDA. That's a 37% increase year-on-year, with an EBITDA margin of around 20%, which again we're very happy with. Pre-tax profit underlying about 34%, and all these improvements were driven through by the structural changes and synergies we identified in the business and we put in place across 2017.
Wonderful. Can you also talk us through your strategy of operating local businesses as clusters? What does this mean?
Yeah, so construction materials are fundamentally a very local business. The products are very heavy, they're not very expensive, they're abundantly available pretty much everywhere. So you're talking about region or even town-based business. So when you then look at how to optimally utilize that logic, it is best, in our view, to group compatible businesses together by grouping drive synergies and drive cost savings, but also from a top-line perspective, make sure that they share customer lists and so on. And what you end up with is a cluster of companies. We at the Topco make sure that purchasing power, because we're a bigger group, gets put through, and management and health and safety rationale gets put through in these smaller entities. And so you'll find yourself at the end of this journey with a series of clusters and an operating company above it to drive synergies overall.
Of course. Okay. Now, you have an active buy and build strategy. What do you look for in your targets?
Yeah, the targets we look for, the companies we look for are very much of two distinct criteria. First and foremost, we want them to be quality companies. They need to have something that, in our view, underpins the value. Either that's an asset base, a location, a product type, something that will generate or that will maintain the value across the cycle for the future. That's really key thing number one. Secondly, we want to make sure that businesses we buy are in regions we very well know and understand, so that we can not only buy that one company, but identify a few others around it, build that cluster, and be active in a region where we've operated before. And that is the sort of the recipe to be able to generate synergies and shareholder value ultimately. Start with something good, buy it at a decent price, improve it, group it into a cluster, and then continue to manage it.
Of course, brilliant. Now, one of your recent partnerships was with Tarmac Limited. What did they bring to the group?
So Tarmac Limited is obviously a leading construction materials business in the UK, decided to group with us on a particular product that Poundfield Products Group have in their patent portfolio but don't actually produce. So this is actually an additional revenue stream for us from a product that the business developed but never actually didn't actually produce at the moment in time. The reason why it doesn't is because the shutter block product, the product in question, is fairly technical and very large in scale. It also requires capability to install and manage the installation work, which again implies risks and so forth. So Tarmac were actually a very good partner for us to be able to take on both production, commercialization and installation, and then help us with that side of the business, so that we can then focus on all the other products that Poundfield owns patents on and drive the sales there. So a very nice sort of complement to the Poundfield business.
Indeed. Can you comment on trading for the year to date?
Trading up to April has been good, in line with the budget we've set for the year. Obviously, everybody speaks about a slightly longer winter, which is indeed true, and some of our products go into the agricultural markets, and they started slightly later this year than the years before. But overall, we're very happy, and the business is doing well against that budget.
That's good news. Now, what can investors expect to see in the rest of 2018?
I would say work on two fronts. The Brunei and Channel Islands cluster is now fully integrated, so we'll try to replicate a similar logic within the precast cluster in the southeast and east of the UK. That's clearly point number one. And then we're constantly on the lookout for bolt-on acquisitions and or straightforward separate acquisitions to create new clusters, and that's the axis number two. So improve and build, and that's the mantra of the logic of the whole business going forward.
Of course. Okay, wonderful. Talking to us today is Max Vermorken, Chief Executive Officer at SigmaRoc. Max, thanks for joining Directors Talk today.
Thank you very much for your time.